One of the biggest issues we've had on our homestead, and probably lots of other people have had on theirs, is dealing with getting water to your animals, filling up the water troughs for the cows, the pigs, chickens, that sort of thing. And the main way we do it right now is with hoses. For the past 5 years, we've been through, I don't know how many different styles of garden hose. And we finally found one that works, and I'm gonna show you what we're using now. Ideally, what we should be using is this frost-free hydrant. We should be running a line from the house out to where the cows are, or out to where the pigs are, or the chickens, and install a few of these wherever we really need water. However, the key to these is actually getting them installed and not buying them and have them sitting in your garage. You can see behind me hanging on the wall, we've used the aluminum style hose. We have used the heavy duty rubber hose. We have used the nylon hose with the rubber insert. I don't like any of them. The problem with the aluminum hose is the hole inside is very small, so you don't get a lot of water going through. It takes forever to water anything or fill up the water troughs. It's the same with the rubber hose hanging up here, and it's the same with the nylon hose with the rubber inside. They have additional problems as well. This aluminum hose, if you accidentally run over it, which happens, is it actually crushes it and makes the water flow even worse. The rubber hose here is heavy, it's awkward to deal with, it does kink sometimes, and then you have to use the metal straps to tighten down. And what we find is they always pull off. So if you join long sections of hose together, usually they come apart when you're trying to move them. The nylon hose with the rubber insert is even worse because it has plastic connections, and we've had those break probably within the first 6 months of trying to use those hoses. So I broke down, spent a bit of extra money on some other hoses that we've been using for, I want to say it's over a year now. And I want to say too, we've been using these hoses for over a year. We did buy them ourselves. We weren't gifted them or given them for sponsorship or anything. I just want to tell you how I feel about all of these hoses in general. So for us to start with in the winter, what we have to do is grab our hose that's down here in the basement, in the laundry room, and run it out the window and then 100 feet over to the water troughs for the cows. That's why it would be so nice to have one of those frost-free hydrants over there. So let's get started. We'll fill up the cow's water and we'll top up the hot tub as well, which we usually do a few times during the winter. So this is why having a good hose makes a huge difference for this. So when you're dragging a hose like this around, the one thing you don't want to happen is to have any kinks in it, because that just basically halts your process of dragging the hose out. So the hose we're using here is the Stanley Fat Max. I really like this hose. The inside diameter is, I think it's 3/4 of an inch, so it allows a huge amount of water flow to head out to the water troughs, and that allows the job to go so much faster. So we do this exercise probably once a week, if not more. Same with putting the hay bales out for the cows. We got to fill those water troughs up. I think they drink a lot, but I also think that with the water heaters in there, it allows more water to actually evaporate. So it goes faster than them just drinking it. What I like to do too is pull it over this back porch. And what that does, for us anyway, is puts this end of the hose at the very highest. So when I go to pull the hose in after watering the cows, as I drag the hose up over this porch, all the water runs out of the hose. So when I go to stick it back in the house, I don't have any water trapped in that hose at all. So here you can see I've actually dragged the hose out from the window over the deck. I've piled it up here behind me. I'm gonna finish kind of stretching it out straight, and that allows the water to drain out much simpler. And for us, getting that hose back and forth and pulling it out without any kinks in it is huge. You don't have to go back, flip stuff over, you don't have to stretch it out, you don't have to untangle it. I highly recommend this hose. So guys, if you're looking for a hose for your homestead, for watering your cows, your gardens, your chickens, your pigs, I highly recommend picking up a few of these Stanley Fat Maxes. The convenience of using them, the ease of using them, the speed of being able to fill up water troughs is amazing. Comparing it to the nylon hoses, the aluminum hoses, the industrial rubber hoses, we've even got one of those green everyday garden hoses out in the greenhouse, and it is horrible for kinking. I mean, that thing just, you know, you just pull it a bit and it wants to kink. It drives me bonkers. So if we get the chance, we'll be getting rid of that hose probably after the aluminum hose, actually, because I think that thing's seen its last days. But again, I'll put a link down below. I think I got one of them on Amazon, and I picked up one of them at my local BMR hardware store. I highly recommend going in, supporting local as well. Grab one from your local shop. They'll appreciate it. But if you're like us and you live out in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes they don't always stock stuff, Amazon works pretty good too.